Oh, looky there. We're back. You know how we start this. Roll call.
Kaya.
Ryan.
Mikey.
Kyle.
And Steven! Welcome back, everybody, to episode 33 of our Elemental Evils campaign. The Odd Jobs, our favorite adventuring group from Boltsmelter. In our last session, our favorite adventurers entered into the Earthen Cyst to confront members of the cult of the Black Earth, who had begun to successfully construct a devastation orb. Don't you dare, Fred Burger. Why must you punish me so? I don't get why you're like this. Anyways, to confront members of the cult of the Black Earth, who were in the process of constructing an orb of devastation. With their dwarven and dark elf allies, the party stormed into the Earthen Cyst. Noticing the strange properties of the Earthen Cyst, where gravity would increase, decrease, and at times flip completely for moments of time, as a brutal fight of Zorn and stone masked monks, stone melder casting. It was a brutal fight with many intense moments, almost too many to name. In one of the darker moments, the column holding the unconscious body of Fergus Boltsmelter collapsed, covering both of the dwarven allies. While the allies were able to crawl their way out from beneath the column, Fergus has yet to appear. As the fight continued on, the Zorn eventually did consume the priest of the Hammer of Moradin, and an erupting earth spell brought forth a large falling of rocks, killing the Warhammer of the Hammers of Moradin. However, with a devastating blow from Rornak to end the Zorn, and I believe it's a strike from Jasper to end one of the other stone monks. Soon it was just the party versus this very last spellcaster, who decimated the floating stones floating around the Earthen Cyst before unleashing a combination of slow spells and shatter, knocking 3 of our party members unconscious. It was in the same moment that gravity shifted for Rornak, causing his body to fall the entirety 40 feet of the Earthen Cyst, landing on the roof before falling back down. However, with a failed death saving throw, Rornak's spirit left his body, falling and landing in the shallow kind of river through the Earthen Cyst, to the shock of his party. The party, with fast thinking from Freddy and a good use of command, were able to finally rally, and Jove put the final finishing blow into the stone melder, piercing from the back of the head all the way through the neck with a sickening crunch. As the body of this stone melder began to erupt, the final vestiges of the orb of destruction, the devastation orb, inhaled this final remnants of elemental energy. As Mercivus finishes chanting, and you see a small implosion of earthen energy. The gelatin-like sheen that forms the outside of the Earthen Cyst peels back like a water balloon popping in slow motion as the energy begins to dissipate. Let's see if I can get Fredbot to play this other song correctly. Fingers crossed. There we go. As the bits of stone that remain hanging in what was the Earthen Cyst begin to fall and land back down to the earth of the Underdark with a large clattering sound. You can see Mercivus standing off at a distance, eyes still glued to kind of the earthen codex, though he has stopped chanting. A number of heavy rock and debris near the body of the Zorn, the underwater river still sloshing rapidly through this cavern. And there, off to the side, where Jovia pulled his body off, you see the still body of Rornak. Party, what would you like to do in this moment?
um, I think with all the chaos, Jasper probably didn't realize that uh, Rory died, and probably looks over to Freddy. You still got all those health potions?
Yeah, we should probably get the going. So I'll join her and go.
But since we're all over the body, Jove is going to at the health potions. Jove is going to say, "For our next past health potions at this point, we need to retrieve his body before it all goes to hell." And because just to make sure I'm interpreting this right, like things are like falling from the sky, so it's pretty chaotic, right?
You can see that the stones that made up that earthen path, if we look at the map, to the different kind of platforms, have begun to fall. However, it's not like the entire thing is collapsing. Some earthen structures still remain, but those suspended in midair due to the lack of gravity are beginning to fall back down.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, which stones remain after the caster blew up the other platforms?
I think with that revelation from Jove, Jasper will just grow quiet and walk over to him and say, "Well, we're not gonna leave him down here," and pick him up.
If you want, so you're not carrying them out of the hole through the sewers and all that, we can put them on my disc.
What, you got spells left?
I do if they're rituals.
Alright, I could use a breather, so why don't you do that?
I spent 10 minutes conjuring a green disc.
Freddy, you begin to the process of ritual casting during this 10 minutes. Jasper and Jove, what would you be doing?
I'm gonna go look and see if I can find Fergus's remains too.
Go ahead and give me investigation.
That is 15 for investigation.
15. You begin removing the stones from the fallen earthen platforms. You immediately see kind of the crushed body of that dwarven warhammer, the armor dented and twisted in certain places. You can see the warhammer itself bent at an odd angle, but you continue to remove some more of the stone. And there, underneath one of the larger stones, you see Fergus's still form.
Jove is gonna call out and say, "Jasper, help me get Fergus out of here. It's the least we can do for crewmate." And he'll start clearing away as much as he can.
Mm, yeah, she'll before leaving Rory's side, make sure his eyes are closed, and then go help Joe with that.
Indeed. Jove, give me an athletics check with advantage, since Jasper's helping.
Well, that's a nat 20 for 25.
Yeah, absolutely. You're able to get Fergus's body and pull him out with almost no effort. You can see that you can clearly see that there's been some trauma applied to his body from just the column collapsing around. You can see that strange necklace, this kind of strange archaic gold chain. Part of the medallion is bent at an odd angle. It almost pings softly as you move Fergus's body out from the rubble.
What did you say happened to that spellcaster's body?
The spellcaster's body began to explode,
Okay.
and as it lashed out to consume you, it was pulled into the implosion of the devastation orb.
Gotcha. Okay. In that case, while we're over by all that rubble, Jasper might attempt to. The Zorn had like crystals and stuff all over it, right?
Go ahead and give me a investigation check.
Okay.
There's crystals on the
Hmm.
bank, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only an 8 for investigation.
Yeah, looking at the Zorn's body, so much of what might be usable is just covered in that strange brown molasses ichor, especially with the huge center of it thrown up. However, Jove, with your passive 17, point out that up and down the river there is a number of rough, uncut stones that kind of glisten in the fading light.
Jasper will start collecting those. And I think her eyes will find their way towards Mercivus. What's his name, right?
Indeed. Go ahead and real quick roll me a d10.
Sure. Jesus Christ. 2.
2, you find two kind of grapefruit-sized gems. You pass over a number of smaller ones and see kind of nested together. They're a dark kind of jade color.
Okay.
One for each hand.
Just writing that down real quick. Okay. Yeah, she'll stash those and turn to Mercivus. So what? You're planning to just cut and run?
Oh, well, the plan is to copy down everything that I can from this codex. Go back to my people at Sith McCain.
So you're willing to leave that with us, or?
As soon as I get the information from it, absolutely. I held up my side of this. As soon as I'm done copying it down, it's all yours.
I don't imagine you feel inclined to tell us what your people intend to use that information for.
Probably in the regards to showing a defenses against a large invasion army of possibly fire giants and their demonic leaders. Something along those lines.
Wow. That sounds like real pain in the ass.
Yeah, you could say it's a big pain in the ass. What about you? What are you gonna do with the... And kind of looks over and scans the, broken, churned up battleground that was the Earthen Cyst. The numerous bodies that are kind of laid out and the bits of precious gems strewn about the cavern. What are you gonna do after all this?
keep finding more of these fuckers and putting them in the ground.
Well, if
That's,
you ever make it past all putting these fuckers in the ground and you still need to fight, I certainly wouldn't mind the help if you find your way back out west.
where exactly are you from? What's your city, town?
Sith Monkane. It's an outpost. A bit east of Meridoria. And Meridoria is... Oh, gosh. This one's a hard one. And... Oh gosh, where's the spelling of this one? I had it up earlier. Maerimydra.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have a lot on our plate, but sounds like you do too, and we do kind of owe you for your help in this particular situation, so we'll definitely keep you and your people in mind.
Should be thanking you. This has exactly what I'd been needing. You have any idea how powerful this is right here? It's the kind
I
of like...
imagine pretty damn powerful considering how much trouble that was.
Well, for some like this cult over here, try to create it to use a weapon of destruction. However, the real trick of this book is kind of like the stones kind of glow slightly on the cover of the spine of the book. Is that this here can bind an elemental into a mundane weapon. Can't do it all the time, but you spend a little bit of your own magic, churning it through this, or at least this formula right here. It points to kind of a large, multi-paged formula. And well, you can use an elemental power against an elemental.
That sounds damn useful, especially with all these fucking elemental cults running around Boltsmelter.
Whereas kind of continues to jot and make copies of his spell book right next to his own. As you see, it's almost kind of lifting. It's like taking one page, folding it over into the codex, and then pulling it back, like making a photocopy. You can see there's kind of this silvery, almost diamond crystalline like vial that he periodically almost like pours into his own book as he kind of copies one page over.
You, when you first showed up, you had someone with you. Is that your teacher or your superior, or who was that?
Well, he's a mentor. Somebody who has a better grasp of the art than I do. Somebody who could pinpoint me here to a place that I'd never been before.
Left you to do this all by yourself. That seems intense.
Were you either strong enough to get the job done, or you're not strong enough for the deep? It's not his responsibility to look after me and my side projects. My responsibility to get the codex.
Well, I guess since we're on good terms, if you ever happen to hear of a group called the Odd Jobs in your area, that's us. So
The odd jobs. Yeah, I can remember that. I'll be sure to put in the best word that I can, at least from where I'm at. Forgive me if words aren't always the most persuasive down in the Underdark.
yeah, it's no fucking different where I'm from, so no sweat there. Hey, Freddy, you fucking done yet? I want to get out of this place.
Am I?
10
minutes.
A couple minutes more go by before, yes, Freddy, you successfully cast your floating disc. Boom. With a kind of a low bass note.
All right, load them up, move them out.
How much more time do you need with that, Mercivus?
Most of it I already knew, but the most important parts, as he kind of unfolds his book from the codex, right here, and he hands over the codex kind of in one hand out to you.
Jasper will take it and give him one last nod of thanks. So, is your mentor picking you up, or are you walking back home?
Yeah, that's the hard part. Welcome back.
You stay out of fucking trouble. We're not gonna be there to help you.
Oh, don't you worry about it. I think you all got the rougher bits as he kind of looks over towards Rornak's floating body than I did. Good luck in your city. Glancing kind of upwards.
And you with yours. And she'll walk back over to the party and hand Freddy the book. Actually, no, she's gonna hold on to it. She doesn't want him giving it to the clerks. We good to go?
Yeah. So we got 2 bodies on there right now.
Yeah.
I think that was it, right? Just Rory
Yeah.
and what's his face?
I mean,
Fergus.
Fergus.
the dwarves were wearing pretty valuable armor, but it seems like bad form to just loot them like that after them giving their lives and whatnot.
I mean, they did.
Actually,
They did threaten us.
that's true. You know what? Fuck them. Let's get their
No,
armor.
no, 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 no. They gave their lives for it. Can't you see that one of our companions just gave their lives for us?
And you think that they wouldn't loot him?
Well, I mean, Rornak doesn't carry much on him, but yeah, I do think the little bit that I got to know these dwarves is that they're honorable people, and that matches with all the other interactions I've had with dwarves. With well, maybe Fergus being a little bit of an exception to that, but
Well, Mr. Outsider, let me remind you of something. We are in and under Molemaster, the place of which the motto is take what you can get when you can get it, because you never know when you'll get another chance. And as shitty as it sounds, we need to take what we can get when we can get it. because everybody else is, and we don't want to be caught on the back foot. So I don't know what your morals are saying about it, but my morals are saying I'm gonna take what I can get.
Well, all right, Zor and Zora, if you want to pull dead bodies out of that dwarven armor that is with those folks that bled their blood for us and for Rornak here, feel free. I'll be here. I'll keep Rornak company.
Jove, would you actually roll me a medicine check right now?
Medicine is 13.
Yep, continue on.
How about a compromise? We won't leave them naked in the dark, but they don't need their gold in the afterlife. Assuming they have any. She's not even gonna wait for a response. She's just gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
That is an 18.
An 18. You find a grand total between the two bodies there, the priest and the warhammer, 125 gold pieces.
Okay.
I'm gonna take 10 minutes to do detect magic.
Absolutely. As you know, it takes a little bit for you to get these bodies out, and Mercifist takes more time with the codex. Eventually, your detect magic goes off, and while the whole room is still radiating with abjuration and evocation magic, you immediately are pinged by the elemental codex, which radiates with both of those schools of magic. You also see the bent medallion on Fergus continues to ping with, I believe, divination magic.
No other magic items on any of the other bodies.
Looking around, the stone monks do not seemingly ping. The body of the caster is exploded, and the Zorn is not innately magical. So besides your party members pinging with their usual magical ping,
All right. Here we go.
Well, what's our plan? Are we gonna do a little funeral procession through the streets, or I feel like Ornak might want his body delivered to the House of Suffering? And you can see that Jove is just exasperated, and he looks at you, Freddie, and says, "Is this the end of the line? Are you holding something back from me? Is there? I know that magic can undo things like this. Now, is that something that we have? Can we save Rornak, or is this really goodbye?"
I've definitely heard of ways, and I've heard of it being done. I've never seen it. But also from what I've heard, it costs a pretty penny. So unless Rory has anybody owing him any favors, it seems like we're gonna have to pay out of pocket for our friend to come back. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's the reality. So
Well, I know I definitely owe him a favor. So
Yeah, I think I owe him a dozen or more at least. So I mean, if anyone's capable of that kind of world-bending magic, I'm sure someone in the cloaks can do it. Yeah.
Sure. If not someone in my organization, maybe a religious figure somewhere.
But yeah, Job, I hope you don't think we don't intend on doing everything we can. It's just it's hard to think about all this right now. Frankly, I'm running on fumes and adrenaline, so I can't feel much of anything other than my broken bones.
I think it's best for our team morale if we finish talking about this over a drink or a neck.
Yeah, you're right. No, yeah. Let's get out of this dank place. I know that's what Rornak would want.
So Jasper will start moving. And actually, as she passes the floating disc and sees Fergus laying there with that fucking necklace, she's gonna like rip it off of him.
It comes off. You currently have it in your hand. It seems to be kind of a silverish gold medallion. Some kind of intricate, vaguely celestial sigil upon it. However, the coin is been bent at this point due to the impact of the column falling. There's a slight raise of the hairs on the back of your neck as you touch the medallion.
So it feels like it still has some magic in it.
Roll me Arcana.
I'm so good at that. Now, here we go. 5.
Must have rolled like a 1 because I know your intelligence has got to be like an 18.
Oh, it's sky high.
Gaudy piece of fucking jewelry. Makes me think of Anhara's, but at least she could rock that shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's just gonna stuff that in one of her pockets and keep moving.
Indeed.
And as we're like making our way out of the what once was the cyst, Joey's going to turn back, and in Dwarvish, I imagine that through his times of guarding, the caravans and whatnot, that he had foes fall, and if he knows any words in Dwarvish as kind of a a Lord's Prayer type of thing or anything to send them up to their ancestors, Jove would
Give
try
me a
and recite
religion
that.
check with advantage.
Ooh, another nat 20.
Yeah. We recall kind of a prayer for Moradin that many dwarves who kind of travel say it, when they wake up, when they go to bed. It's kind of the quintessential kind of like Lord's Prayer of Moradin. And you kind of recite it to the cavern and let your voice ring out over it. It carries on through. You can see kind of off in the distance, Mercivus kind of turns back and lets the words travel through. And eventually you kind of finish speaking to be met with the sound of water rushing, earth rocking, trembling, and just the ever slight feel of furnace as you turn back and rush to catch up with your party.
Also, we kind of glossed over it, but did Mercivus return it after finishing the codex after?
Indeed, you do have the codex on you.
Cool.
As you guys headed back, the way you came, heading towards the surface, Murph's fist began to head deeper into the Underdark. You guys continue.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you first.
Jasper's just really in rough shape, and yeah, she doesn't really suggest resting or anything. She's limping along.
You travel for the better part of an hour. Then 2. Go and everybody give me a Constitution saving throw.
Unnatural 20.
24.
24.
That's a 0 for Rory.
Failure on Rory's part. That's true. Freddy? Squidward? Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, no, 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 no. We will wait. We'll sit in the silence of traveling through the Underdark, heading back to the city of Mulmaster.
Oh, aha!
Oh.
It was either the USB into my computer, the cable plugging into the thing that converts it into a USB, my mute button, or the mic plug, and I eventually found which one it was. Mine was a nat 20 for 22, and I was also trying to say that I'm gonna have a Johnny just scouting up ahead as we walk back in a very vulnerable position. I just kind of want to have the best view on what's in front of us.
What? Go ahead and give me a Johnny perception check.
I don't know what his perception is. Let me look up a rat. 5e.
Because do rats have keen senses?
I also don't know that. No, not rat shaman, just rat. Just give me rat. Thank you. Okay. Oh my god. Was in his +0 in smell. In smell.
Okay, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Good, because the first one was shite. Oh, the second one was almost another nat 20. 8, so passive of 10. Actually, passive of 15 because of advantage.
Passive 15. You send Johnny to scout ahead of you. As you guys kind of push yourselves and your bodies to carry you forward out from the Underdark, going through the cavern, passing the still dead body of the hooked horror and other cultists, making your way further up until eventually the stanky smell of the sewer hits your nose as you move from the earthen tunnels back into the sewers of Mulmaster, going from rough, naturally occurring tunnels of earth to the rank and file bricked sewers beneath Mulmaster. Another half hour or so passes, and eventually you find yourselves back at that opening gate that leads back up to the streets of Boltmaster.
I guess I'll walk on to the cloaks to see where I can get this service done. You're free to come with me, or if you go off your own way to handle your own business, I know where to meet you.
It would feel wrong to leave Rory's side right now. I feel like I'll go with you.
If that's an option, I'd like to too. especially to help pay for whatever fee might be involved. That being said, if it truly is an exorbitant amount, I don't think we can afford to help out with this Fergus fella. And frankly, he was a little cross with us anyway, so I'm not really feeling particularly generous with him. But we should at least let Fergus know at some point that
Well, I was
about
just
True,
gonna
Mike.
bring him the crow bag. Yeah. Say he's your friend. Love you and all, but not really my guy.
absolutely.
No, to be quite frank, I gave him several opportunities to
Not die.
do right by us and just not die in general, and he
Chose the third option.
yeah. So
I'm
no,
I'm right there with you. It's not for Fergus. It's for crewmate.
yeah.
And I just don't want him thinking that well, I told him that we would bring him back. And I think he was thinking that meant alive and breathing, and at least the second best we can do is bring his remains. So
As far as I could tell, Rory very it's very possible that Rory died because he tried so hard to fulfill that request, and I think that's all Crew Meg can ask from us.
I think Cro-Mag is gonna be the least surprised person when you say that his death is to be blamed on his stubbornness. Seems like a persistent character flaw of his that I don't think will surprise.
Yeah.
you're right on that, Freddy. Well, let's get this over with.
So, party, where are you heading first?
Cloak Tower?
Yep.
You head from the sewers to the Tower of Arcane Might. Approaching the large kind of stone guardians that stand to the sides. It's late afternoon. You can see the sun is beginning to set. A cold kind of wind blows down from the east. It cuts the kind of beginnings of spring being recovered with that same kind of chill, Mulmaster chill. The bay almost inhaling this kind of cold wind from the east as you make your way into the infirmary that you guys are rather familiar with. There you enter in with your multiple dead bodies on a floating disc. The streets of Mulmaster giving you plenty of odd looks. Some standing away, others jeering, but all giving a wayward eye. As you enter into the infirmary, it's not long until Nevlon Dejuan, with his large mustache, enters in and goes to you, Freddy, and says, "Freddy, you've brought company." As he kind of looks over the two bodies, the masked individual, Jove once again, and you, all of you covered in dust and blood and Zorn Icker.
I don't know how much of that was a joke, but as abnormal as it sounds, I'm not really in the mood for jokes. I just need to know if there's anyone that can do any kind of resurrecting service.
Yes, Freddy, we do have ones capable of performing such a feat. Although it will have to come from a higher rank. You are aware of the costs, correct?
I'm aware that there is one.
Yes, it is a rather hefty fee of 1,250 gold pieces to provide the material to call back one's soul from beyond.
All right, where's this high ranker?
Why, the one and only Senior Cloak himself, Rastal Shan.
Okay, can I call him? I kind of just want to get this done as soon as possible before anything fleets away.
Of course, of course. Let me. And he begins to make his way up to go receive the Senior Cloak. How are you guys splitting up this cost? As Nevlon just goes to get Rastal Shan.
I think that what we were talking about last time was we take Rory's money and then, because Rory, you said you had 500.
I have 525 on me, just for the record.
Yeah, so we'll take just 500 from him, and then we each were gonna pay 250. Is what I remember talking about.
Seems logical to me.
Yeah, I think Jasper will even throw in like an extra 50 of her own just so Rory has a little bit more of a cushion for, you know.
Yeah, so Rory, you have
Whatever.
75 left.
Appreciate you.
I got you.
You pool your gold together, gathering the necessary funds for Nevlon Jujuan returns, followed behind him the Senior Cloak, the same kind of jeweled mask covering the features, the long white hair, the robe cloak adorned with bits of platinum sewn into it. As he approaches. Who is to receive the services, Cloak Lap? So he looks to the two bodies.
The one you've met before, the monk. His name is Rornak.
Understood. You have the necessary components? As he holds out a hand.
Is that not covered in the fee?
Well, this is for the payment of 1,250 gold pieces.
Okay, I thought he was asking for a diamond. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna have a diamond. Yeah, so I'll take our pooled money and
And sliding it into one cloak sleeve. Out the other, you see a like softball-sized diamond. It weighs heavily in the hand of Rastal Shan. Numerous kind of rings adorn each finger. As Rastal Shan places the diamond on the chest of Rornak. From one of his sleeves, you see a green and black leather book emerge. It flicks open with a deft hand. Black and green runes on it begin to glow as Rosh Hashan begins to chant, throwing out different circles, making sigils. The diamond begins to spin, and it spins faster and faster. And as it does, it seems to enlarge, stretching out further in this strange kind of fractal pattern. Instead of organic, it is arcanic in nature, going from rings to fractals, moving bit by bit, almost like a formula come to life until it completely covers Rornak's body. It covers the entirety of his form before it begins to shrink down forming tight, almost like a vacuum sealed suit over his form. You can see green light is bursting from within this diamond, throwing deep black shadows across the room, almost blinding to look at it. You can see that Rastalshan's hair is being thrown back from the force of this, almost as he's condensing this light and this crystal over Rornak's form. Rornak, as your conscious floats, viewing a scene of familiarity and deep dread, you feel a pull backwards, a dragging sensation, as you peer through your glass and for a moment meet the eyes, the bright green eyes of Vonquo. So soon, Rornak. And you feel this pulling sensation as you are pulled beneath the earth. You can feel your very essence dragged underneath the very stone, the very earth that you have fallen, pulling far from the east, down beneath the city. You feel yourself being pulled ever closer to this kind of calling. You see briefly, Rornak, could you roll me a d20?
The 10.
A 10. Briefly, you see a small manor. Its yard filled with a number of different flowers of various colors. The bright blue and yellow ones giving you a pang of familiar nostalgia. As you see these kind of roots twist, follow down what appears to be a small garden shed deep into the earth, and twist around black roots, twist around what seems to be a cell with a single yellow rose in it. Before you are yanked back even faster, even harder, there is a bright green light. As you feel your consciousness click in, you feel that kind of warmth of that body reconnect the two pieces of your fragmented self being pulled together. The sharp pull of red twine being unrolled from you. And as the rest of you watch as this diamond encases Rornak, there is a breaking noise. And shattering as the case. You all cover your faces and your eyes to avoid the bits of shards of diamond as it bounces and breaks across the room. Rornak, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
The 16.
A 16. As you see Rornak's chest begin to move once more. Rornak, you return to the land of the living. You currently, throw of 16, have a -3 to ability checks, attacks, and saving throws, as your body is trying to overcome the trauma of dying. Every long rest, that penalty is reduced by 1 until you are back to full strength.
That was ability check, saves, and attacks.
I
Right.
believe so. Let me just double check. Yes, to attack rolls, saving rolls, and ability checks. So that's a -3 currently.
Yeah. Rordak coming to, I think, immediately just lets out just a series of coughs, extremely fatigued, and with what strength he has, Rornak is just going to just kind of like kind of feel his body and his face just to make sure that, almost like a reaction just to make sure that he is like in one piece and to see if his mask is even still on him.
Um, Feeling around, your mask is still on. However, there is a um, large crack in it, starting from the bottom, moving upwards. The two hands of Ilmater that were once together now seem broken apart, as it kind of the center part is how like moved them apart. So a bit of your face now peers through the mask.
As soon as there's any sign of life going into Rornak, Jove just can't help himself, and sort of like Merry and Pippin at the end of Return of the King, where they just like gang up on Frodo in the bed. Jove is just on top of him and hugging him and saying, "Rornak, I thought we lost my friend. I'm so happy you're alive." And he holds him tight, real close for a second, and then kind of slaps him on the chest and oh,
Joe, dear Lord, where even are we right now?
well, we're in the Tower of the Cloaks. Freddy and this gentleman here just brought you back from the dead, Rornak. You gave yourself fighting for us, but we couldn't let that be the end of it.
So that wasn't just a dream, then, was it? I really did go there, huh? And he's gonna put just like a hand, and he's like almost gonna be like just kind of the same way that he kept like kind of feeling to make sure he is one piece. He's like almost gonna do the same to you, Job, and just, you're here, right? We're here, aren't we?
I'm right here, Rornak, and the four of us, well, we'll be tied together forever. I promise you that, Rornak.
Ronak starts to chuckle to the point where he's just crying.
Jasper will put a hand on his shoulder and just give him a couple taps. Yeah, we couldn't let that be the end for you, bud.
There's only one other person I know of that was twice martyred in their life. You would make me a religious figure, he says, with almost a tear in his eye.
Maybe we can break the record.
At that point, I don't know if I'm ever destined to die, he says.
Well, at least until our wallets give out.
Rornak pauses for a second. How did you bring me back, actually? Maybe I should ask this somewhere else.
Oh, that would be me. As you see, as Rastoshan kind of goes over to the kind of the edge of the bed where you're currently laying with, Jove all up on you and Jasper with the hand on you. It's a pleasure to meet you once again, Rornak. Rastoshan, Senior Cloak.
Well, Rastoshan, may you know that you will forever have what blessing I can offer you from Ilmater. And well, thank you.
No thanks is needed. Thank your companions, including. Cloak Lap. He kind of gestures over to you, Freddy. For funding such an endeavor. It has been far too long since I engaged in such magics. I was hoping you would engage me in some conversation, Rornak. I would be most curious to know where a Gith resides once their time abruptly ends on this plane. If you would do me such a kindness.
Well, even if I said no, as he continues to cough, I don't know that I could go anywhere if I really wanted to at this point. And I will give you a fair warning. I don't think I don't think that my story is quite normal, but I'll entertain you on this one.
I don't believe I asked for any boring stories. And you see a certain spryness return to the senior cloak. But I will arrange for a time for us to converse further. The process of returning to the material plane can be quite arduous. So gather yourself, Rornak. The odd jobs, correct? He kind of looks out to the rest of you. Well, you certainly are odd. As the senior cloak makes his kind of exit, leaving just a brief, cool, almost cold hand on your shoulder, Freddy. The skin just ever so lightly brushing against your neck. As the senior cloak begins to return to his quarters.
Not to dampen the mood, but I am currently supporting the weight of a dead dwarf on my desk that I would like to take care of sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we probably should make ourselves back to the ox pit and let crewmeg know. I don't know, probably parading in a dead body might not be the best move, so I don't know. I've been staying there, so I'd be happy to go out ahead and let him know so he's not just confronted with the body. I don't know what y'all think.
Wait,
Do we know if there's a back door? Yeah, I feel like we would know if there's a back door.
Well, there is a back entrance for the kitchen for receiving deliveries.
wait, who else didn't make it then?
I mean, the person who just kept running into the face of danger and refusing to stay safe.
Ah, Fergus then. I tried to help him where I could, but I didn't have a chance to really check on him in the middle of things.
Yeah, I mean, you literally gave it all you could, so, if Crew Max throws any slack, I'm gonna make sure that he knows that.
How are you gonna explain to crewmate that you brought me back and not him?
That it was his own stubbornness that got him killed, and that we were responsible for him and not his soul. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what he wanted to do, and he was willing to risk his life, so we let him.
A mercy given, a mercy taken. The Mater is with his rules, it would seem, on this one. Just go easy on crewmate then for me, please.
You bet, Rornak.
Yeah, Jove, that wasn't a bad idea though. If you wanna go ahead and break it to him before we show up.
Yeah, I'll do that and just let him know that y'all be bringing the body to that back entrance into the kitchen, and we'll go from there. So my internet was being booty, and y'all sounded like robots there. So is Rornak staying here to talk to Russell, Sean?
I
I
believe
said
so.
beep boop, beep boop. Word of the Lord.
0000001.
I mean, yeah, I believe that's the case. And if Rornak wanted to even go somewhere, I imagine he would need to be like majorly helped right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Freddy and Jasper will both stick around while you have your little chat.
So, Jove, you are escorting Crewmeg, Fergus back to Crewmeg's. Do I have that correct?
No, we're gonna keep Fergus with us, and he's just gonna break the news
Okay.
before we show up.
Oh, I thought we were bringing the body and he was just going ahead of us.
Oh, we could do that too.
Is
I mean,
there
Rory knows where to find us.
Yeah, he could use some help getting back though. If you
I mean,
wanna.
if you want to stay, he's just on
Yeah.
my disc, so I.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'll stay behind then, and you can go with behind Jove.
There you go.
Okay, so Freddy and Jove head to the Oxpit Tavern, with Freddy going around the back with Fergus's body and Jove leading the conversation. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okie dokie. Whilst Jasper and Rornak rest up at the Tower of Arcane Might, we will follow Jove and Freddy as they make their way from the Tower of Arcane Might over to the Oxford Tavern. By this point, it's early evening. Freddy, you head towards the back with the body of Fergus floating under disc, while Jove, you enter into the Ox Pit. It's a rather busy night. You can see there are a number of patrons. The staff hustling and bustling from one side of the tavern to the others. Drinks being poured, food being served. Somebody even appears to be playing a lute at one of the tables. And you spot Krubeg currently pouring a number of drinks in one kind of big hand.
Before I initiate this conversation, would Jove know, is there anything kind of like akin to the, like triangle folded flag when it comes to, uh, you know, delivering news like that in dwarvish culture? Like, I don't know, a lock of his beard or something like that, as a physical marker to be like, hey, your friend fell in battle.
Yeah. Most dwarves will keep like one longer lock like on the side of like they're either their bangs or everything. They leave the beard as is. You never cut a dwarf's beard unless you're trying to dishonor them. But kind of a lock of hair that many dwarves keep and then eventually braid it into their beards later. So yes, you could get such a thing off of Fergus.
Gotcha. So with that in hand, and Jove still looking gross and grody is going to catch Crewmeg's attention and say, "Hey there, Crewmeg."
He turns, Joe, and kind of looks at your appearance, scans you kind of up and down, looks towards your hands.
And he'll be holding that lock and say, "Crewmeg, can I talk to you in the kitchen real quick?"
You see kind of Crewmeg's expression kind of hardens up and he nods and just places all the drinks just down on the bar, heads towards the kitchen.
Jove follows him in, and shuts the door behind him. I don't know if Freddy is there waiting or not, but Joe will look up at Krumeg and say, it hurts me to bring you this news, Krumeg, as I'm sure you can tell. Fergus fell in battle when we were underneath the city. He wasn't the only one that fell either. Rornak fell in battle trying to save Fergus. And Freddy was able to work his connections to raise Rornak from the dead, but I'm sorry, Krumeg, but Fergus is gone. But we couldn't leave his body down there. As you well know, Fergus was a stubborn fella, and he took that to his very end. And even though he was rough around the edges with us, I know he was a bosom buddy of yours, and couldn't in my right conscience just leave him down there. So we have his body, and we didn't want to be traipsing him through the tavern, but when you're ready, Freddy has him waiting outside. We figured after all that happened that it would be best that we delivered him to you. And with that, Jove will hand over that lock of hair to Krumeg.
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
You said persuasion with advantage? Sorry, my
Indeed.
thing is being so bad right now. Okay, cool.
It's weird because you're coming through like crystal clear.
Same.
Yes. Okay, so persuasion is a 17.
Krumeg takes the locket of hair and turns back to the door and says, "All right, let's get this over with." And gives you a nod, Jove, to bring in Fergus's body.
Jove will go and kind of open up that back door and wave in Freddy.
Freddy, you bring in Fergus's body on your floating disc. And you see Krumeg goes up to it and places a hand on kind of the outside of the face. Puts his forehead down to his friend's. Has just kind of this silent moment where he just breathes in deeply and holds it there like he's trying to hold all the air in the room. And it goes on for what feels like an eternity before he exhales. You see, without lifting his forehead, his arm goes to wipe something from his face. So he brings his head back up. Thank you for bringing him back.
I know this isn't how you said to bring him back. I don't know if this is any consolation or not, but that old girlfriend of his that you told me about, we ran into her down there, and they saw each other. I'm not much of a matchmaker, but I could feel that connection between them, so. I'm sorry, Krumeg, there's nothing that words can do for making this any easier. he'll just put his hand on Krumeg's shoulder and just kind of gauge his reaction to that.
Krumeg looks down at Fergus and takes a kind of a deep breath and looks back over. Where does necklace go?
And Joe,
I didn't see it.
yeah, it's a good question. I didn't see it either. When I pulled him out from the rubble, pretty sure he had it on. Was that an heirloom or something like that?
Yeah, for Fergus. Just, something he said about it before he left. But, I guess it doesn't matter now. He's hopefully down with Murden, hammering away at something better. Would you, I could use some time. I could use some time. You see Krumeg kind of, looks down, kind of wrings his hands.
Absolutely. And Jove will help get the body off of the Tinser's disc.
Krumeg has helps you get that off before he shoulders Fergus himself, and you see him kind of head down into the cellars, and a few moments go by, and you don't hear Krumeg ascend the stairs again. A few moments go by, and one of the servers pops in, sees you both over there. Hey, you seen Fergus? I'm trying to remember what these drinks are, and you can see she's got a number of drinks in her hand.
That
Well,
server
you're-
meet Chromag.
I did mean Krumeg.
I was like, why would they be looking for Fergus? Yeah, he's probably gonna need a minute. Can we help you at all?
Can you pour drinks fast?
I can pour drinks, and I'll be an extra body, and it's not just you.
Done. Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check.
22.
22. Yeah, you get behind there, and you just take drink, pour drink, and you just start getting them spun out of there. You just create a line, and server comes in, tink, 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 tink.
Hey, I think I'm getting my my nimble fingers back.
You go and reach into on an excessively heavy one. You see a mug except for what appears to be rather beefy looking human male. Big tavern, you feel a big pop in the finger, and like Mr. Incredible, when he gets his back popped, just suddenly feel a whole lot more movement return to your ring finger. You do this for the better part of half an hour or so before Krumeg returns back up, taking a bit of letter and stuffing it into a pocket before he gets back behind the bar and says, "All right, well, Get out from behind the bar, Freddy. It's no place for a cloak to be serving drinks in this establishment.
Okay, that dude's had like 3 already. You might need to cut him off soon. He's getting kind of jiggy with it.
Crewmate looks over, and that fool is indeed getting jiggy with it. He's got one more in him.
All right. Well, sorry again. But I mean, we'll still be around.
Yeah. You're always welcome here at the Ox Pit. But there's that kind of momentarily just kind of slight freezing over, hardening, if you will. But, life of adventuring, There's a reason folks like me run taverns. Stay a lot safer that way.
Well, there's a lot of reasons that songs get sung and stories get told there too, crewmate. Don't forget that.
Yeah, alright, thank you for that halfling bout of wisdom, but, if, you're not buying a drink, I think, I got people to attend to.
I'd just like to reserve a room for myself and Rornak for later. And Jove is just gonna put 10 gold on the counter. By the way.
Krumeg, not so absent-mindedly, with the intent, takes the 10 gold and, yep, I'll get your regular room set up.
And then I'll just go grab a table. I don't want to order any drinks until everyone else gets there, because it's probably not going to be a night of heavy drinking. But I think one with the party is in order.
As that's happening, we'll return back to Jasper and Rornak. You have a few moments as Freddy and Jove leave with Fergus's body, where it's just the two of you.
Well, I feel like we go back and forth with these things, but this time around, I really do have to give it up to you, and thank you. You saved my ass, and probably the biggest way yet so far, so I guess you're winning that one.
Well, no problem. But with how much you've saved my bacon, it felt like a given.
Well, unfortunate you see it that way, because I've learned life really isn't always a given per se. Even though I'm not one to talk, making it through 2 deaths at this point, it feels like. Maybe even more, who knows?
Yeah, this city is harsh enough. I would hate to keep dealing with it without you around.
Well, so, did you want me back here as a friend, or did you want me back here to look up the city a little bit? Or is it a little bit of both?
I see it as a win-win, I think.
A good investment.
Exactly. I know you'll make it count. Also, I just really love to see people get holes kicked straight through them. I don't know how you fucking do that, but wow.
Many, many years of practice, and not holding back, I would say.
Oh,
Also,
well.
if someone seeks to defile me and my own people, then, and you see him like really clutching his fist on that one, I'd kick a hole through just about anybody on something like that.
Understandably.
I don't think it's between you and me. I'm still processing it out, but I don't know if it's a coincidence that I am here where I am. I mean, obviously you guys made the decision to bring me back, but just trying to make sense of what it is for me. I feel like the only thing that I keep coming back to with everything right now is just defiance. Whether it be you, whether it be Amada, whether it be anything and everything at me. It's just like, it's like if I'm back here for another second, I'm back here to defy something else for another second, right? Every second I go, it's like, in some way, for someone, somehow, I'm defying something, you know?
I don't think I've related to you more on anything in my life. It's, I
True.
get that.
You have, true, you live a whole second life. I guess I actually really relate with you on that one too. Different scenarios, but Jasper, I'm I'm not who I am. Or I am, but well, if you're here when I speak with our friend later, you might hear my story's not normal. I didn't remember most of it, but I'm Ronak, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm still kind of making sense of it.
Well, if you ever need someone to listen to you about that, I feel like I can understand that.
Oh,
But
you're free to sit down on my talk if you want. I wouldn't mind. As I know that Freddy's good with the cloaks and all, but I wouldn't mind having somebody to just kind of look over my back. I don't imagine they'll do anything, but I don't want to trust or necessarily take my chances on how exactly the cloaks will take to
no,
everything.
I get it. That dude creeps me the fuck out. I wouldn't want to be alone with him either. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah. Last thing I need is to be someone's little exam pet here.
There's a
You
slight knocking on the door as you say that. A gentle 3 rasps. The door opens. Hello, Rornak.
welcome in. Thank you again for doing what you did, bringing me back.
It is not so difficult to traverse the barrier of life and death. But it takes a willing soul to traverse such barriers. Welcome back.
Well, for what it's worth, I'd rather be here than over there, so good to be back in that sense.
As you see as kind of Rastashan almost glides across the room, he reaches out a hand and you see one of kind of the chairs in the infirmary gets pulled behind and pulls up to your bed as he takes a seat on it with hardly any noise. On kind of the opposite side of from where you're at, Jasper, and you can see the reflection of yourself off the kind of expressionless mask with its kind of jewels and gems gilded onto it. Yes, when I pulled your soul back, I sensed a fracturing. An anomaly, if you will. Rornak, may I inquire where your consciousness resides when your body fails?
In all your time, have you ever come face to face with a mind flayer?
Personally, no. Other things. I hear a slight chuckle. But a mind flayer, no.
Well, consider yourself lucky. They're nasty sons of bitches. And currently, when the spirit of Rornak that you see here isn't in this body anymore. From what I can tell, I go shooting straight down to the earth somewhere here. And right to that mind flayer's little lair.
And would it be too much to assume that this is closer to Master than one would feel comfortable with?
Well, most people in Master probably don't want to head over towards the glacier, but I assume it is next door, isn't it? Glacier of the White Worm, of course, that is.
Ronak, I have had reports of sightings that would match the indicators of a mind flayer occupation. The Earth Spur Mountains. While it's caused a fuss with the nobility, I thought it was simply conflict, an aberration between the dwarves and Boltmelter, but I've had reports of lifelike statues dotting the entrance, shifts of earth, pulsations of strong abjuration and evocation magic. I think it is unlikely to be coincidental that these pulls come from the east, and you willingly return. He kind of locks eyes with you, this stillness and intensity, as these kind of words wash over you.
And what would you and the cloaks do about this? I will tell you, your cloaks are right to take the Earthspur Mountain seriously. It may not seem too far, but I assure you that Mind Flayer is real. But I imagine that that's one concern, and your other concern is me. Am I even allowed to leave this room between you and I?
No. We are not in danger of you and your presence here. Worry not. You are free to leave the Tower of Arcane Might. Your services rendered and paid for in full, and with sponsorship of Cloak Lap. He is promising. However, I will call upon you, Rornak. Were you to clear the Esper Mountains and face that what still shackles you, a powerful ally, and connections could be made, and opportunities for much greater movements.
I would listen to what you'd have to offer if I go out there. More so when I go out there. He says as he grips more and more on what clothing he has on.
Well, prove that Rornak commands this vessel. Strike down that which shackles you. And the conversation will be most overdue. As Rastoshan rises, waves a hand, the chair returns back. Rest up, Rornak. You will need more than just your strength. As Rastoshan kind of pivots, almost clock-like, almost gear-like, like a clockwork gear, as he turns without seemingly to move his legs, and begins to make his way out back towards the door. And opens and shut without making a single bit of noise. And this is once again Warnak and Jasper.
Rornak will just kind of, as he's talking, he's just kind of looking over some of his scarring and says to you, Jasper, I'm sure you probably have your own questions, and I'll answer them. Just a lot to take in.
I know, whenever you're ready to give answers, I'm sure you'll tell us.
Oh, I've already got my answer. You see, I came here, says Amy, I came here trying to test my body, test my spirit, right? What else was there for me to do at that point? It was the only way to grow. And now here I am.
Here you are.
You brought me back to mess some things up, right?
I sure did.
Then I need to rest now while I still can, don't I? He says with a slight chuckle.
Yeah,
And
you
he
look
is
like
still
you could use
gripped
some
the
sleep.
entire. Yeah.
uh, well, come on, the other two are waiting at the ox pit for us, so she'll walk over to him and help him to his feet and let him lean on her if he chooses.
Yeah, he will. He'll throw his arm over you, and definitely will need your help just kind of walking him back over there.
It's a lot less of him walking and more of you kind of hip shuffling him through the streets of
Yeah.
Mulemaster. There's a couple points. Jasper, roll me an athletics check.
Okay. Ooh, that's horrible. Thank you so much, Dice. 6.
Yeah, there's a couple places where you have to really hobble your way through the streets. Were you stronger, you might have been able just to backpack carrier like carry Rornak, Kakashi, Might Guy style. Um, but with how stressful the day's been, it's a low, slow, tedious
yeah.
process.
I mean, I've got 7 health, so I'm sure I'm rocking a couple broken ribs and such. So
There's a couple places where you guys step onto the broken cobble streets of Boltsmelter, and you're very glad that a local street fight is bursting out of people screaming as you both feel the full weight of your bodies drop onto your ankles.
oof.
But you do eventually make it to the Oxpit Tavern. Enter in. Freddy, you see your sister and Rornak just hobble their way in. Exhausted. Still looking rather bruised and bloodied. But they are there. You're able to flag them down. Job, with your 17, you immediately notice, and the mess of looks as people turn to see the two masked individuals hobble themselves into the Oxpit Tavern.
Yeah, Jove just holds up 4 fingers to the bar and says, 4 Rornaks, coming on up, please.
And 4 Ronaks are quickly and efficiently sent to you, Jove. As you all kind of reconvene to a table in the back of the Oxpit Tavern. Freddy, you sitting at kind of one side of a booth. Jasper and Rornak, more falling than sitting on the other side of the bench, with Jove returning with 4 full Rornaks and placed them on the table.
Well, Rornak, I gotta say, you're the best looking dead guy I've ever seen.
I was that even before I died this last time, if that makes you feel better. But thanks. Appreciate it. It is it's nice to be the living dead guy, not the dead guy, if that makes sense.
Well, it certainly makes drinking these a little bit easier. So, and Jove will raise his glass around the table. A Rornak for Rornak. And, shows that the odd jobs, despite all that might happen here in Bullmaster, we really do have each other's backs.
Well,
Cheers to that.
cheers to that.
Constitution saving throws.
Just 3
I
for
feel
the
like
almost
that's
dead guy.
your fucking catchphrase.
13.
15.
Yeah, I rolled how I felt. That's a 9.
14.
14. You're all able to keep it down. With Rornak immediately, it's like this liquid is filling up the just massive amount of blood you've lost. Your blood might actually be 50% alcohol at this point in time, just due to the lack of blood you actually have in your body.
I think
You
Rornak
immediately feel hammered.
Rornak is probably like at that point is whatever's left is like small sipping, like he's feeling it,
Yeah.
Oh, it takes like one big one and then just like it immediately kicks you down into drunk. So you all kind of put your glasses down. Feel mostly refreshed with the rest of you having decent snuff rolls in comparison. You do watch Rornak sink into a seat pretty hard afterwards.
So, I suppose this is as good a time as any to tell you all what Mercivus told me about the codex that I'm currently carrying. It allows someone with magical ability to bind an elemental to a weapon. Considering how frequently that seems to be something we encounter, that it's quite a boon.
Yeah, I mean, if we can use it, you think something that Freddy would be able to whip up for us, or what?
I honestly, I would have given it to him already, but I don't know, something about, I don't know. I knew we were gonna be going to the Tower of Cloaks, and it's such a powerful thing. I don't know if they would have had something to say about it. Felt like should be something that's kept between the four of us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful for that Sean gentleman bringing our good buddy Rornak back to the land of the living, but he gives me the creeps pretty hardcore. So I
Yeah,
understand why you did, Jasmine.
I know this might sound hypocritical as someone who is always wearing a mask, but what the fuck is that dude hiding?
I don't know all the stories that I hear about the really powerful wizard types is I don't know, they aren't the most well adjusted. I'll just say that. Present company excluded, of course, Reddy.
Call me a powerful wizard. I've still got plenty of time to get shady. I feel like it's a linear graph. So just talk to me when I get some more magic in me.
Well, if you would like to hold on to Codex Freddy, I'm happy to hand it over.
You think you can trust me with it?
You know, sometimes I wonder, but you've earned this much.
Oh, take it.
Yeah, she hands it over. So how did the breaking the news to crewmate go?
Really well. He was really happy and threw a little party. There's still some confetti back there if you want to like throw some up in the air and act like you were there.
You know, I'm already regretting giving you that fucking codex.
Just about as well as anybody who hear that news take it.
Yeah, honestly, surprisingly well. I mean, I guess it helps that they weren't in super close contact recently. They're just longtime friends.
And
I feel like it would have hit harder if this was a more recent connection.
he was definitely grateful that we brought him back. He said he was disappointed that that little necklace of Fergus's didn't make it. I guess it's some sort of heirloom or something. And he said that that Fergus had told him something about it before, when before we went down into the Underdark, and said it didn't matter now, but
I'm gonna use Freddy and Lapis's brother-sister connection and give her a look that shows her that he saw her take it.
Roll me insight. Roll me an insight.
I
And
was concentrating on the disc, and you were fiddling with things on the disc.
and Freddy, roll me a persuasion.
What Wow, for the first time in Jasper's life, she rolled well on insight. 17.
26.
Yeah, yeah. The sibling sense tingles. Message
Yeah.
received.
She like turns her head a little bit towards Freddy and then back towards Joe without seemingly reacting to that. But yeah, you feel like the message is received.
But Krumig, I think, put his remains to rest down in the cellar, which I think he'll get some solace of being able to go down and visit his friend when needed. But as you can see, Krumeg doesn't let grief get in the way of his business. So speaking of business, Warnock, I went ahead and got us our usual rooms for the night. So once you're ready to call it quits, I can if you need it, I can give you a hand up to your room.
Through a wave of alcohol, this registers to you, Rornak.
If he's
Rornak.
storing the body in his basement, I would do a 10-minute ritual of gentle repose on it before all this.
We can go ahead and just say that you you do that. Give me some flavor. What is gentle repose? That's a new one for us, so give me some flavor.
Yeah. So gentle repose is one of the wizard rituals that I picked up in from one of the spell books, I believe, when I was studying while doing work for the cloaks.
Yes, your
gentle
time
repose-
in the libraries.
Yeah. Gentle repose is a wizard ritual. Duration 10 days. You touch a corpse or other remains for the duration. The target is protected from decay and can't become undead. The spell also effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead, since days spent under the influence of the spell don't count against the time limit spells required, such as raise dead. So when Freddy does this, of course it's his first time casting it, so it's still pretty like rigid by the rules, like reading from the book and just like trying to do the hand motions as exact as possible, and he can't really add too much of his own flavor, but kind of plays some somber elven music from what he knows from his childhood, and kind of just works that in with the hand motions and ritualistic mantras that he has to say for this to go off, and wraps himself and Fergus in a bright golden light that's kind of blinding if you look at it too long, but it's like life without life. It's the kind of music you hear that fills you with life, but you realize it has to end sometime.
Like torchlight reflecting off of a golden statue. You see that kind of light bathe yourself and Fergus's body, settling, covering, and almost plastering itself against him like a second skin. This offbeat golden light as it settles in with the somber music of your playing, and gentle repose is casted. We can say you did that after revealing the body to Fergus, whilst Joe was having his conversation. So yes, Fergus' body is under the gentle repose spell. Nice touch.
So, according to that Mercivus guy, there's a whole army of fucking fire giants that his people are trying to deal with. He extended an invitation for us to come help with that if we're ever so inclined, but I let him know that our hands are pretty full here.
Yeah, the next time that we don't have another life-threatening, world-ending potential occupation, we'll hop right on that.
Right.
What are our current perspectives for less than regular jobs?
We need to go speak to those Zors that that Mistress Vaj gave us a letter of introduction for.
And after
And
that,
also, yeah, go ahead.
I've got Boone's letter to be going over to. I believe it is the Falling Star Mine, and attached to that, we had the Groshen lore from the Hawks. Was well, he offered us 1,000 gold to do a little spycraft for him, as it were, over in those mines. So we still got a little bit to do in the city, and I'm going to be talking to Yavendel. She's making her way up to the glacier. I hear there's a storm brewing up there, but seems like our slate's pretty full. But you're right, Jasper. That I think our next move was using that invitation that y'all got from Mistress Vaj to figure out this whole silkweed situation or silk root.
So, yeah, a nice laundry list of shit to do.
Indeed. At the end of all this, I definitely do still want to make my way back to the Earthspur Mountains, but I can't well leave things half finished out here too, can we? I say, yeah, sure, Svaj's arrangement, it should be our next spot that we go to.
Rornek,
Wow.
you're kind of the pinnacle of health. I've never seen somebody. I mean, I think I've only seen you wear two different styles of clothes and shit. I mean, just the physical prowess of yourself has been impressive since day one when you let those folks pretty much hit you with iron pokers. But I don't know. As somebody that hasn't been dead myself, I guess what I'm getting at, Rornek, is could you use a day off? I mean, I feel like we goddamn well earned it. Y'all remember earlier today was we were all poking holes through a giant octopus?
Yeah, I'd say this is up there in terms of long days for us. I'm fucking exhausted. Almost too tired to even drink.
That's how you know Jasper's really feeling.
Ror- this whole time you're talking to Rornak, by the way, Rornak's like shoulders are like barely above the table. He's like in that like stoop state, you know?
The drunk nod where you're like, yeah, totally, yeah, I get you.
If I went to the mistress's place, it would just be diplomatic. I think I'm probably a liability in a fight right now.
Well, can't have that. So,
I mean, we can take a break for a few days. Do we have to do this right now? I don't really know the time frame on the whole silk route business.
I don't have the actual invitation in hand, but whoever does have, I thought it was kind of an open invitation, but I could be wrong on that.
Well then, let's take a break and let our not dead friend come back to the world of living.
yeah, I can't say no to that. Just, I have a thing not too long from now, like a little longer than a 10-day, I think I have to be in town for. So, if we plan on taking that trip to the mountains, how long, do we have any idea how long that'll take?
I would say, um, if you wanted to make it to the mountains and back, have some time to rest up, and be able to make it to the gallery and the party of Mistress Vages correctly, you'd be able to get Rornak a day of rest, but any day longer than a day of rest, you might not be able to make it in time.
A day of rest it is. I mean, if he spends the whole day resting, he can get 2 or 3 of those negatives taken off.
I would be at a -2 on all my rolls.
Well, you're at a -3 right now. And you're about to take a long rest,
it's
and if
for
you get
long
another long rest,
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be -1.
then
Yeah,
it would
that-
just be -1 going into your next adventure.
That would be nice.
If that's if you want to have enough time to do everything without throwing people's time schedules off, then yes, you could do that.
Well, I think that's fair. I think we deserve a day off. Anyways, I know that Yavendale was wanting me to stay in Mulmaster for a little bit, so maybe she'll have some more info for me when I go talk to her tomorrow. But yeah, maybe we can go our separate ways and then meet back here early morning day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Works for me.
Well, Rornak, you're melting into that chair right there. Can I get you up into your bed for you?
He tries to move and he's just like, it's like he's like spinning in place in the chair. He's like not really actually getting out of it.
And and Jove just kind of goes over to him and doesn't make him say anything and say, "Oh, come on, buddy. Wouldn't be the first time we carried you on our backs today. So why am I naked and dumb?" Start shuffling up the stairs, and I guess at the base of it, we'll turn back to Freddy and Jasper and say, "Jasper, Freddy, it's days like these that we'll remember forever, right? Better for worse. So here's to the odd jabs."
Certainly hope life isn't hectic enough to make me forget this one.
Well, hopefully we won't be eating those words in the next couple of days. So, y'all are lifesavers.
Back at you, Joe. Good night.
And Jove kind of, I imagine, just since he's so much shorter than Rornak, kind of does a little bit of getting him up by the armpits, almost like over his back, and like so Rornak's like spidered over the top of him, and they make their way up the stairs.
Drunk Ornak just, thank you for saving my life.
You'll do this for me one day, I'm sure.
When Jasper and Freddy are alone, he's just gonna be like, "While I have you alone, because I really don't need to see your face tomorrow. I feel like we both got plenty of shit to do. I don't care what you do with the necklace, but apparently it was important to him. So you make your choice on that."
He made threats to destroy everything that's important to me, so yeah, I'm keeping it.
This is your last chance to have me identify it before 2 days from now.
Well, why don't we go out front for you to do that? I'd hate for Crew Mag to see you're a liar.
Well, I said I didn't see it.
It sounds like you did see it.
Just because I saw it now doesn't mean I saw it then. Anyways, I think outside is fine.
Alright.
You head out front and you perform identify. Give me a little bit of flavor on this one too. I'm feeling. I want some Freddy flavor. Out front of the Oxford Tavern, how do you identify magic this one?
Yeah, so with all the studying that he's been doing, he's definitely gotten familiar with this one because it's just a really common spell that they really want you to just have in your head at the college. So he is pretty confident in his chords and his hand motions, so he can kind of just do his own flavor on it, and just plays chords that are very like matter of fact, like they're normal chord progressions. Like you hear a note and you're like, I feel like that would be followed by this one. Sure enough, it is. And it's just a progression, and there's going up and down the scales.
Through
Just
the 8
very
schools of
predictable.
magic. Through the 8
Yeah,
scales of magic.
very predictable, very predictable music, and as the sound chords of his magic hit the necklace, they bounce back and flow back into him and into his mind and into his ears, and just kind of fill his head with the information of what this item is made of and what it does.
And as it completes, you find that this is a Medallion of Thoughts. The medallion has 3 charges. While wearing it, it is an uncommon wonders item that requires attunement. You can use an action to expend 1 charge to cast the Detect Thought spell. Save DC 13 from it. The medallion gains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. It is specifically referred to as Armesh's Wisdom.
Zarmesh.
Aramesh's Wisdom. Aramesha. Wisdom.
Zarmesha. Yeah, it does this this caster thing called Detect Thoughts. So if you want to get in people's heads, you can do that.
You know, that sounds right up my alley. So I'll make sure to keep it under my clothes so that doesn't ever cause any strain here.
Alright. Later.
Later, Freddy.
As you make your ways across the city, Jasper, I assume you're heading home.
Yeah, she sticks around long enough to gain the benefits of a short rest because she's got a good amount of hit die left. She hates walking across Boltsmelter feeling vulnerable. So.
Gotcha.
If you don't mind me doing that.
I don't. You go and finish your drink. See Jove and Rornak very slowly make their way up the stairs to their respective rooms. Until the night draws long, and you make your way back across the city before removing the back of the chimney out and sneak into your room.
I'm back.
Oh,
Okay.
hey, welcome back.
You doing okay?
What is that smell? It's like murky water and broken cobblestone. Definitely pee. And
Oh, I tried so hard to keep it off me this time.
yeah, I don't know what's that fourth smell? What is that? It's like
It's the ichor from a zone. Believe it or not.
I would not. That is not what I would believe that smell is. But I also don't know what that smell is like either, so 50-50 on that one.
Well, it was another trying adventure. One of my companions actually passed away, and we spent a mountain of gold bringing him back.
Like, how much is a mountain of gold to non-gas people?
Well, I was trying to make it relative to normal people. Is is 1,250 gold a lot for people? Like,
That's
I'm never
like
sure.
more money than most people are gonna see in an entire lifetime.
Okay, then
That
yes.
is like
That's
actually the
understandable.
cost of a soul, of like a life. Like if you could put an actual like value to it, it would be that.
Well, yes. It was. I know you haven't met him, but he was worth it. And not. It's not like it was all mine. It was a shared load.
I can't believe that you made enough to just casually spend that much gold to bring back just like some guy. So you telling
I
me
mean,
that if I go down, that you're gonna drop that much gold to bring me back?
for you? And she like pretends to like think about it for a really long time. Yes, of course, Kirk. I would.
I was about to say, I'm telling your family.
And that's why I would.
Exactly. I would come back across the plains. I would crawl out of the demon web pits themselves just to tell your family.
I have no doubt.
Good. Just want to make sure that point was clear. All right. Let's get you out of there. Why do you...
Thank you. Adventuring is a messy business. I have no excuse for you other than that.
Yeah, you... I don't know.
You
Just
know, I
something
met
smells super familiar on you.
maybe perhaps it's we met a young drow spellcaster while we were down there from Seth Morcane.
And you see Kirk kind of stiffens up. Oh, is that it? Yeah,
That might be it. Yeah.
that would definitely be that fourth smell.
Well, you might have him to thank for even seeing me at all. We're in a pretty bad way down there, and you really could have cut and run and didn't.
Well, did you make a deal beforehand?
We did, yes.
Yeah, well, they do. They're all about their deals down there in Sith McCain, so, you know, just, keep your wits about it. And you can
Would
just
you,
see that, it's not quite a full body shake. There's just a slight tremble in the digits as he's helping you kind of undo your armor.
You know, Kirk, you do so much for me. If you ever need to just talk about yourself, you know I would listen, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. It's, of course. Yeah, of course.
She
You know,
sort
if...
of. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You first.
She just, with that reaction, she just kind of gazes at him for a long time without really saying anything else. And just, yeah, continues to get herself cleaned up.
Yeah, and Kirk doesn't say much after that. You can feel after a moment it kind of regains the stillness of his fingers and helps gets there and asks a few, makes a couple comments, gets to a big part of what this must be the Zorn blood, as you can feel like a sticky tacky pole as part of your armor sticks to Kirk's hand as he helps you doff your armor.
Yet, I would be quite pleased to never encounter one of those for the rest of my life. I watched it pick up several people and just consume them whole without any ifs, ands, or buts. And they were not weak individuals either.
You know, not with Zorns, but more the Artiga. Fuck, it's been forever. It's hard to say back
Oh,
in.
those garbage monsters, right?
You know, they're a whole lot more than garbage monsters. And you see a little bit of the Kirk's regular personality return to him as talks a little bit about Underdark monsters with you and the merits and detriments of what it'd be like to fight one in the streets of Boltmelter. But eventually, Kirk gets you cleaned up, and evening falls. So, in the morning, how about everybody go ahead and roll me a d8?
Seven.
8.
I'll put it in there.
6.
Okay.
And
1, 7, 8, 6. We'll start with you, Jove. Jove, you wake up the following day, very sore, bruised heavily. A certain heat in your belly, an anger that you just can't seem to put down ever since Akila's shot back into you yesterday. But you wake up and put your feet onto the floor. Feel the cool of the wood. What do you do with your downtime day?
really, there's only two things that he particularly wants to do. He wants to go talk to Yavendel, and then after that, I know that I can't do like a. He actually wants to go spend the night under the stars outside the city. So after he does that, he'll go out and just kind of enjoy some nature for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You head towards the shack of Malar and glance up and see a pair of hunters exiting the shack. The remnants of their most recent game still on their fingertips. Before you see your Yavendel's trees side by side, still blooming with plants, just the barest bits of leaves starting to come back to it. A cold kind of gust of wind carrying a few of the more infantile leaves off the tree. But you're able to go and pick a fruit. And then there's a moment where you hear a large whoosh. Avondale!
Yavendel, it's Jove. Yeah, y'all right? It's pretty loud up there.
Yeah, Jove, it's... Joe, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
I have my passive of 17.
You can hear the sound of huge gouts of wind whipping out, but you're able to eventually hear out. Yeah, Jove, I'm in the Glacier of the White Worm. What do you need?
Just giving you an update, Yavendel. Me and the odd jobs, we stopped another attempt on the city. More than earthen cult folks doing something with an elemental codex beneath under the sewers of Molemaster, and it was quite the knockdown, drag out fight. But we stopped it, and I think if we hadn't, it might have been another one of those situations, like happened over in Elmwood, but would have been for realsies over here in Molemaster this time.
Oh, not bad, Jove. I found Marika! We're heading towards the monastery to see if we could. And you hear a large kind of sound of wind blowing and ice breaking in the background. Hey Jeff, is there anything else you need? I'm kind of busy right now.
I was just seeing if you needed anything. I'm going to be heading over to the Earth Spur in a couple of days, and I'm going to be heading that direction. You just let me know if you need me up towards that glacier. So I'll come pick another fruit before I leave town. But just letting you know.
Alright, I'll see you. There's a large kind of cracking sound, and what sounds to be a low alto voice. A language kind of speaks out, almost as if you hear the last bits of someone large speaking before the connection goes.
Joe just kind of sits there, puzzled for a second, and just kind of leaves it be and takes her word for it that she's busy and that he'll check in again before they leave town. So after spending so much time in Mulemaster the past couple of days and having to be under Mulemaster and traipsing through all that shit and just feeling that burning anger, from Aquila, he just after that he just needs to get out of Mulemaster. So he heads out the South Road Keep and just starts kind of wandering.
Roll me a survival check.
That's 15.
A 15. You wander out after checking with the Offendale. You leave the floating leaf behind and just travel out on foot. Just, you and Aquila. Traveling on foot with your halfling legs, you don't make it out as far as you usually would, like towards, the flooded forest or even towards more of kind of the hill lands. Instead, you follow kind of the river list down. And there you find what appears to be kind of like a small, almost like a large stone set out on kind of the banks of the river list that a number of trees and such have been growing out of. And you make your way over to that across kind of a broken log, heading onto it. It's this kind of small little improbable piece of nature just outside of Mulemaster. Far enough away that when you go towards the center of it, with your back to it, it blocks out the lights and sounds of Mulemaster. But just around the other side, you can peek your head out, and there you can see kind of the ships way out across the harbor, the lights, the smoke, the fumes of the never-ending forges, creating that kind of light cloud that always seems to hover over Mulemaster. It's about 3 or 4 hours out away from Mulemaster, enough for you to get there and still have kind of the bulk of the afternoon, but not so far that it takes all day to get to.
Beautiful. And once he feels like he's far enough away from town, he wants to get close to the bank of the river. I imagine he has some sort of fishing pole or something like that, or hell, he would even do some spear fishing. And also, what he's going to do is, I've never done this before, but something that I can do is pump my spells into uses of summoning Aquila. So I'll use all of my magic for the day. So that'll be 2, 4, 6. So she'll be able to walk on the mortal plane for 10 hours. So I'll kind of really marshal all of that resources to just let her kind of get outside of Joe's corporal form and just enjoy splashing up and down the bank and they'll talk and do their whole thing. So just kind of enjoying a little field day away from from the hustle and the bustle of the city without getting, too far afield.
And you know what? That actually brings me to a perfect reminder. Jove, as you spend your rest day after speaking with Yavendale, just out in your kind of small getaway of nature, let's get you guys some experience points.
Ooh.
For defeating, uh, for defeating 12 cultists, 2 crushing wave reavers, a giant octopus, the octopus knight, the black earth guard, a hooked horror, 2 sacred stone monks, a stone melder, and a zorn. Everybody receives 1,425 experience points.
Nice.
Kai, you currently have the Medallion of Thoughts in your possession. And Freddy, you currently have the Elemental Codex, which acts as a unique spellbook.
And you said again that was 1,425?
Yep.
Okay.
What you guys' experience points looking at?
We are 250 away from leveling.
That's
Sorry, 240.
That's rough.
That is rough. Can I go and kill some boar? Or,
Yeah, literally.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, can we just like go? Can we take like a job to deliver something across the city?
just an actual small odd job, just for a quick
Odd job.
250 experience points. DM, got any side
Little
quests?
Obja. Hey,
Deliver
does
some
anyone have
pizza.
anyone have some big rats they need us to kill? Yeah.
Do you have a goblin infestation in the nearby hills? Maybe a bugbear is leading a tribe of goblins in a small mine.
Did we miss any real low-level side quests? We'll take them right now. Yeah.
Now's the time.
So, with that addition, I believe next in line was Fredward.
Me.
Yeah, you were 6, correct?
Yep.
Indeed. Fredward, you wake up in the Tower of Arcane Might. Fingers feeling better, but body a little bit sore. Although not nearly as sore as some other compatriots must be feeling, waking up a day older and 1 day less dead. What would you like to do with your off day?
Just gonna spend the whole day reading this elemental codex and trying to figure out how it's used. Without help
Absolutely.
from anybody in the school if I can afford it.
Would you do me the favor of rolling me Arcana and then a Charisma check using your proficiency, almost like you're doing a spell attack?
The Arcana is a crit 1, so 3. And then my Charisma with proficiency. Oh my god. I rolled a 19 on that, almost a crit in the opposite direction. Is proficiency right now? 2? No. Yeah, wait. Is it 2?
So,
Yeah, it's 2. So, 24.
So, you spend the day studying the Elemental Codex, and you are able to retrieve the spells located within it. These ones, if you will. So, Absorb Elements, Alarm, Earth Tremor, Illusory Script, Magic Mouth, Maximilian Earthen's Grasp, Silence, Erupting Earth, Meld into Stone, Melf's Minute Meteors, and Transmute Rock. Seeing that the spellbook holds incredible power, one that you're not entirely able to access yet. we'll say with the crit fail, that you are able to copy these spells. However, at this time, the deeper secrets of the Codex are lost to you for the moment, obscured to you for the moment. In fact, there is a large rumbling of earthen energy that, as you're kind of studying this, rocks the area that you're at, causing a number of scrolls to kind of fall down, causing some other of the cloaks to kind of investigate and see what you're doing. You with this kind of large tome out covered in scrolls, as it kind of exerts some of its innate magical energy on its surroundings.
Okay. Let me look at the rules for copying, because I know that alarm is a ritual. 2 hours per level and 50 gold per level. So alarm is a first level. So why don't I spend 2 hours and 50 gold on that?
Indeed. After picking up some of the scrolls and placing them back, you focus in on some of the actual spells in there and copying it, and you do successfully add alarm to your repertoire of skills.
I mean, that's all that I'm doing with my time. I'm not even gonna go fill up on potions.
Absolutely. Freddy spends the day like the nerd he really is, his head buried in a magical tome, copying spells, trying to unlock the secrets, potentially the secrets of how to bind an elemental to a weapon. However, the first day, not going as swimmingly as anticipated. The Elemental Codex has a willpower to it. It almost rebuffs your inquiries into its knowledge, Freddy. It's
Do a Illusory script too.
it's strange. It's you're looking at it and it's written like it should be, music for a lute, but it plays like a drum instead, trying to understand this codex. However, a cool way to spend the day. Then I believe at number 7 was Jasper. As Jove gets out of the city and Freddy dives into the books. What do you spend your off day?
I think she's gonna head out, and first thing she's gonna do is use her common method of getting in touch with Ilva, and just say, if you're free, I'll be at the Windswept, and just sign it J.
I mark off a gold piece as a young courier. As you tap the gold piece to the corner, a young courier grabs the coin and, with lightning fast feet, bing, 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 begins running and delivers your message to Ilva. As you wait for evening to approach to meet her there, is there anything else you wanted to do during the day?
I think I might go visit Equar, see if he has any update on the dragon skin request.
You head over to the Zent Ghetto, receiving your customary nods from various individuals at the gate. Skirting.
Oh, also, I'm gonna be wearing the medallion under my clothes so that I can attune to it.
Absolutely. You do attune to the medallion. You feel almost this connection from like the back of your skull down. It's like the necklace has a second chain that you wear around almost kind of the ring of your mind. as you head into the Zendiketa, skirting past the city's watch. You eventually make your way to the Black Blade. You will enter in the kind of mid-morning sun shining into a few nooks and crannies. It reflects off of a green bottle, and you say Akwar's hand definitely removes it, causing the light to just shoot past, darkening the room as he drapes it over with a glass and replaces it, keeping the room darkened. Hey there, Jasper.
Hey, hello there, Aquas.
What brings you back around? How goes it finding the source of that tea?
That's next on the docket. I had to do a job yesterday for a friend, I guess you could say. Nearly died, but what are you gonna do? So no update on that front, I'm afraid. But I don't know. I was just checking to see if you were free and if you had any update on that crafting request I sent through you.
Yeah. I did happen to find someone with the skills and know-how. They're still working on the bulk of it, but I did get a pre-order all put together. And he reaches behind the bar and pulls out what appears to be a red and black, almost kind of salsa-looking like vial. Here you go. And as he slides it over and you grasp it, you can feel a heat from it. This thing radiates. It's like a little hot hands. That, my friend, is a bottle of, looks kind of side to side, Dragon's Breath. You take a little bit of that, and you too can have the firepower of a red dragon. Of course, is it very pleasant? Ha! As serious as anybody can. I'm not saying that this will help you, bust a hole through the Tower of the Blades, but you certainly could light a forest on fire with it.
Holy shit. Well, that's a fun little trick to have in the back pocket, I guess.
Yeah, well, Chimera heads are just kind of like a main line of dragony pots. You just churn them all up, get all sorts of good stuff in there. And it's not as good as, a real dragon's breath, of course. But, depending on how you want to use it, it could be a great weapon or an even better diversion.
No doubt.
Hell, you could put this in somebody's food and you could really fuck their whole day up. Imagine, eating your daily porridge, having a little bit of that, thinking, oh, wow, that's real spicy, and then burping up and accidentally lighting your whole table and friends on fire.
I could think of a person or two I'd like to watch experience that particular horror.
You and me both.
I don't doubt that. Well, I won't stay in your hair too long. There was one other thing. I know that, I know a little bit of, and she kind of leans over the, bar a little bit. I know a little bit of Thieves' Camp, but, the symbols are, some of the symbols are lost on me. I don't know if, you could show me a few pointers, particularly on, casing places that are prime for such things.
You asking me if there's a symbol that we slap on there that says this joint is good to be robbed? I mean, if it was that simple, kid.
I had to ask. Felt like something that might be a thing.
Listen, I could teach you some more basic and pointers if you get some time, Some things like when you're playing cards and, ticks to look for to see if you're about to get shocked, but looking for a symbol of a place that's already been cased, well, let me ask you. If you found a really good mark, would you leave a marker for other thieves to know it was a good place?
It's a good fucking point. I guess not.
You don't get to do this as long as I have without knowing a few things.
Oh yeah, if I've got some free time, I'm happy to learn from a master.
All right, take a seat. And Jasper, go ahead and roll me let's go insight and sleight of hand.
Oy. Oh my god. This is embarrassing. She's a woman of very particular skills. 21 sleight of hand. 0 insight.
It's crazy. You're able to repeat back all of the hand signs and shakes and placement of cards and drinks that would give it away that you are entering into family territory. How to ask for help without having to ask for help. The crazy part is you're only remembering the motions. You have no idea what any of it means. You repeat it back flawlessly. And at first, Eckwards goes from really impressed to, are you fucking serious? Did you just memorize the whole hand chant and pay attention to none of it? What does this mean? And you repeat back the gesture back flawlessly.
Yeah, I've got really good muscle memory, but keeping hold of things right now in my mind is, I guess, not my strong suit. It's been a long fucking month.
They say the brain is a muscle. You either use it or you lose it. Let's get some, and get you a quick couple taps to the side of the head. Let's get some of them rocks moving in through there. All right, it's not enough just to know the things. You got to know what it means. So you practice for a little while longer. You have a bunch of the movements down. What exactly they all mean, you'll figure it out over time.
Maybe it'll come to me in a dream or some shit.
Yeah. As the day goes by, a couple watered down drinks later, you see kind of the afternoon approaching, and begin to feel the call towards the Windsnug hearth.
Yep. She'll thank him for his time and assure him that she's got her eye on the goal as far as the drugs in the city are concerned, and she'll head over.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're leaving, you see a number of orphan-aged kids run in and run up to the bar, leap on top of the bar stools, and lean in and whisper into Eckwart's ear. Give me a perception check.
13?
13. The one word that you're able to make out is vipers before you make your way out.
Okay.
So, you make your way over to the Windsnug hearth. As back to its kind of homey interior. It's kind of strangely ranch style abode with the kind of the big chimney in the center of it, filling the whole kind of room with that kind of warm atmosphere, that warm campfire feeling all the way around. Upon heading in, you can see Ilva is already seated at one of the booths. Um, a number of silverware placed in front of her, and a stack of books to one side.
Uh, Jasper smiles to herself and walks on over.
Oh, hey, Jasper.
Looks like you've been busy. And you've been doing good work, I see.
Well, it took a little bit. I'm not the greatest of readers, but once I got it, I really got it down. I just never really imagined there were so many uses for this fork. And she picks up one of the many forks on there. Or really, I guess the trick on how many uses it doesn't have for a fork is a trick.
It's remarkable what would seem to just completely destroy it if you were to use it wrong.
It feels like it would be a better use to use that fork instead of this fork, and she begins to go into a large kind of diatribe of how come you can't use the tiny little fork for getting the tiny little stuff out of there, but you're allowed to use the big fork on the tiny dishes. It doesn't make any sense.
Jasper just laughs and agrees at all her observations about how arbitrary and ridiculous everything is. She'll order herself a cherry fire, and just kind of help fill in gaps that Ilva is feeling in her knowledge so far.
How about you go ahead and do a performance check, a history check, and a... For this one, let's go religion check.
Okay. For performance is a 14.
Okay?
Oh, Jesus. History is only a 6. Oh my god, this die so much. 1 for religion. Her brain is just not working today. Jesus Christ.
As the conversation goes on, you find that Ilva leads it more and more. It becomes less about history and etiquette and more about just kind of regurgitating the same facts through the many books. While she has a solid understanding of dinnerware placement, not as much understanding of kind of the history that a noble Boltmelter needs to know.
I'll keep an eye out for some history books for you. I'm sorry, I'm not so helpful. My mind's been elsewhere these days, so I guess that stuff is kind of slipping from me. How's been getting the word to your man going?
Honestly, I haven't heard anything from days now. I've been trying to just keep my head in the books, not worry about it. The more I focus on this, the faster I get to spend forever with them. But I did have a question. Why go through all this? Not just, for me specifically, but I mean all of this. She kind of gestures to your mask and such. I mean, you got more money than I think, well, even the Lord Regent back home. You mean you have more money than Chab. So why walk away from all that?
It's because the money's not actually mine. It's only mine in the sense that it comes along with a big old chain. And the life I lead, if what I do is discovered, it's not gonna just mean that I'm gonna be locked in my room for the rest of my days. It's also gonna mean really horrible things for a couple of really good people. And they don't deserve that on Academy. So if I gotta trade in all that money and the chain that goes with it in order to keep them safe, I'm gonna do that. Honestly, it doesn't even feel like a decision. It feels like as natural as breathing. Like everything just points me that way. And I don't know. Your voice seems like a nice guy, but no one wants to be married to somebody who loves someone else, right? So yeah, I'd rather you have it.
She kind of looks to you, and her expression goes kind of blank for a little bit. She kind of processes that, and then re-looks at you and smiles and says, "Right. Should probably get back into memorizing as much of this as I can." She redoubles her efforts back to memorizing as much of the literature from you that she can get.
Yeah, she'll just stick around because she enjoys Ova's company and will try to answer any questions she can, though it doesn't seem like that's in her wheelhouse right now. But yeah, that's it for me.
As Jasper continues to teach over the ways of the young Zora, let's switch over to you, last but not least, Rornak.
A
You wake up. You feel a little bit of your strength return to you. However, make me a Constitution saving throw. With a -2 to the roll.
right, -2. That's an 18.
In 18, you wake up and feel that kind of rush of hungover. However, you sit and you focus and you steady yourself, and you are able to keep your food right on down. Your stomach stays and you hold, and the hangover reminds you that you are very much alive once more.
Well, that's a welcome sign, at least. As for Rory's day, today's the off day. There's a couple of things I would actually still kind of like to do with Rory. I would want. I think he would probably take it easy most of the time and kind of take his time getting ready and kind of be hanging around the inn. And so I would want to just talk with Crewmeg for a bit. And then I also, while Rory has some time to prepare, I would actually like to make just a small purchase. I would want to get a spear for him, actually.
A spear?
I would indeed.
What kind of spear? Just like a basic spear?
That was kind of what I was looking for. If there's anything that is there with a little extra flair, I'd look at it, but I wanted to get a spear, and then, Rornek also, if need be, I would even head over to the, House of Suffering, and would want to just get a, like any sort of like red string or some sort of yarn that he could, and kind of like tie it around so that it could be used as both a harness and also as just another symbol kind of tying Ilmater to him.
You get up in the morning, and after collecting yourself, stretching going through, just kind of taking an inventory in your body once more, seeing the new scars that now adorn your body, having a macabre understanding of the very fibers that make up your person right now. You head downstairs, and Krumeg is taking care of business, having taken the morning to settle some affairs. You head out into the streets of Mulmaster. A spear costs a single gold piece, and there are numerous spears to be found. I believe. Jove, how much was your Electrum spear? I believe it was 400?
Oh gosh, yeah, it was a solid chunk, either 400 or 500, yeah.
I
I
believe it
will
was.
say Rornak only has 75 gold to his person, so he can't get anything crazy here.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
give me some flavor on your spear.
I feel like for Rornak, it's it's kind of not trying to be too out there again. Like he almost is like looking it's almost like looking at his staff, but kind of like I want a bit of a pointy end to it. So um really like the structure of it is just kind of almost more fundamental than it is super flashy. But I think he would put extra money if he could just to get anything that he could add like good grips on it and all. Again, maybe matching kind of like the red straps to kind of match again with like the feel and vibe of Ilmater with that. So anything that has like a really good handling with it.
Do
Um,
you do you want to have your spear and your staff be separate, or would you want to buy like a spearhead for your staff?
Ooh, actually, I think that would make sense a lot for Rornak. I think probably adding like yeah, like a spearhead to it. Um, and again, maybe like small upgrades just to like again, just kind of like put some grip on it just to kind of like sturdy it up a little bit more for him as well.
Um, you go ahead and mark off 5 gold pieces. As you kind of venture out through the city, you do find a spearhead. It almost um, looks more like an open palm with 5 fingers pointed forward. It's almost like 5 interlocking pieces of metal that all sit together almost in the shape of like an outstretched palm. That attaches onto the tip of it. You're able to find a number of grips and wraps that are secured on with little bands of metal, as well as around kind of the fix the fixed points where the spear point is placed onto your staff. You find a number of red twine. Um, you actually pull it out from your augury box and wrap that around and hold the spear point tight.
Love it. As another extra little bit too, and if Rornak needs to go find someone else, obviously, to work with that too, I would like that. But if he can take some of that red twine and also even use that to kind of like poke through and stitch together what he has of his mask, because I don't know if he wants to just totally ditch the mask just yet, but he would want to like he knows it's like cracking, so he would want to like either use like twine or something to like kind of like stitch it back, or like get someone that could like kind of like staple it to like hold it in place until he could go. I guess he could visit the shrine, that mask, the shrine of mask again. um
Up to you. You could pay someone to try to stitch the mask back together. It is missing a piece. However, a artisan could theoretically mend parts of your mask using that red thread. I would say for the cost of, if you want it done today, you could find someone to fix it for, we'll say, 3 gold pieces.
Yeah, I think Ronak's gonna go ahead and do that.
So mark off a grand total of 8. And what they do is they take a small drill and they drill out the outline of the hands that have been kind of painted over your mask, where they've broken, leaving kind of a hole in between the two. And they loop some of that red thrine back and forth in this kind of crisscross pattern until it fills there. So it's almost like a red cloth covering that. So in between the hands, it is completely red, with the twine that weaves in and out of the mask, holding it together and covering the parts that are missing.
Beautiful. I love the aesthetic.
Of something that is clearly been broken but has been fixed, and now has a more honest meaning to it.
Very, very nice.
There's, you pick up your finished mask and your now newly adorned spear. It's probably mid to late afternoon. After having kind of like traversed the city, gone to a number of blacksmith shops and other artisans to find the right people to fix everything. What would you like to do?
Ronak would like to make one more visit to the House of Suffering.
Absolutely. You return to the House of Suffering, the low bricked building, not a terribly far distance from the South Road Keep, towards the southern half of the city. You entered in, and you can see a number of individuals, all that you immediately recognize, showing signs of silk root addiction. However, you see the Ilmatari, brethren of yours, moving with a determined pace from bedside to bedside to bedside, offering alm where they can, or a calm word. You see the small shrine of Ilmater off to the corner, tucked almost out of sight. A small bit of incense burning. Its soft, sweet smells, masking some of the worst smells of the sickness inside the House of Suffering. What would you like to do, Ronak?
Ronak would, of course, greet any of, his brothers and sisters that he immediately sees as he comes in, and would like to quietly kind of just make his way back to the shrine that is tucked away, placing his spear down and the augury box, and just kind of take a moment to himself there.
You see a couple of the Elmatari, the ones that do see you, give you a gentle nod. One comes over and gives your shoulder a firm squeeze, as they continue to assist the individuals in the House of Suffering as you take your place by the small altar to Ilmater. The incense burns as the smoke curls around the two bound hands. A small stone tribute to Ilmater. You breathe in the kind of soft smells and allow your body to relax. Focus on your breathing and take stock of your body, the box, and your spear. The three things that paint this body with identity.
He does have a few questions for the augury box then.
Absolutely. What do you ask the augury box?
Rornak is just kind of curious, and almost like the way that he almost like asked these questions is almost just like in a normal kind of like dialogue sort of way. It is almost as if he is just kind of like reaching out for a conversation, and just looking for kind of a meaning. The first question here would be, did Ronak will actually just ask, did you choose me to fight Vanquo?
You look down and you see that your fingers are entwined with that red twine from within the box. You can see a few of the pieces of the box are tangled in between, held close together. Wheel and Mo.
You have another purpose for me outside of this.
You ask your question and you feel the weight of the various totems, coins, and other objects within the augury box drop and fall, and the twine between your fingers straightens out in nice, neat lines. Wheel.
The last one isn't really a question, just more of a parting, as Rornak just kind of says, watch over the monastery.
And you feel the thread kind of fall off of your fingers as it kind of surrounds like a blanket the various pieces inside the augury box, as you feel kind of shut with a gentle and when you open your eyes, the incense has stopped burning and immediately begins to smoke once more as your eyes flick open.
Well, having that Rornak will kind of gather himself, close the box, place it back in his bag, grab his spear, put on the strap once more, and he will just, before he leaves, he will just go back to a few of the people that are tending to the wounded and the sick right now, and just ask if there is any last things he can do to help before he takes off. So he'll just kind of help around for a bit before he returns for the evening.
Roll me a persuasion or a performance check.
We will go for, I guess we'll do persuasion. And that's just a flat 16.
A flat 16. You give some alms to the various individuals. And as you kind of listen to one girl go through kind of a throe of delirium, you hear her say, the flowers of his garden were beautiful. And she kind of repeats it, and you hear just vaguely, the yellow roses were my favorite. Before kind of delirium takes hold And there's that kind of raising of hair on the back of your arms. What little hair that grows there left. Before you take a grip of your spear and head back out. And I think as Rornak heads back to the Oxpit Tavern for the evening, that we'll go ahead and call it there for now. Let us say goodnight to chat.
Good night, chat.
Nighty night chat.
Good
Good night, chat.
Good night, chat. Thank you so much. That is episode 33. We'll be back next Sunday for episode 34, I believe.
34.
Peace in the Middle East. Much love. Nighty night.